Good morning, everyone. I am Jen Lee, Executive Director at Legal Services in North Dakota, and this is our LSND Live Community Conversations. And I'm very fortunate enough this morning to be joined by Andy Heitkamp from Minot State University to talk about some really cool veterans programs that they have at Minot State. So, Andy, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us. I appreciate it immensely.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about you and what you do at Minot State.
Sure. Basically, the university started a position here to assist benefited individuals because obviously the military community, we have uh, an installation just north of town, and then we have both Air and Army Guard units in town, and actually reserve units, and actually a Navy officer in
All
North
kinds
Dakota.
of
Yeah,
opportunities.
correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, they got this office started. Basically, what we do is assist whether you're currently active or a veteran, spouse, or dependents
Mhm.
with navigation of uh, higher education, DoD,
Okay.
VA, federal, state, university system regulations, CFR. There you go. Can start with all the acronyms, Code of Federal Regulations, and doing those things and keeping the university one of the departments that helps keep them compliant with all those entities.
That's really cool. Do you find that veterans or and their spouses and dependents don't always know what's available? Because there's all these acronyms and there's all these possibilities, and I find that it's confusing.
Yes, very, very confusing. And that's one of the reasons we exist. And fortunately, we are in a tremendous, really supportive environment around here, community. We work with all the different agencies and all the different groups that support not only veteran, but active duty spouses, dependents as well. And yes, your question, I'm sorry, I kind of dodged it, is it is confusing because, like I said in the beginning, I know that was really long and wordy, but that
Mhm.
is what you're doing. You have all the bureaucracy of federal regulation, of state regulation, of university regulation, of Department of Defense regulation, of VA regulation. And where do I go and how do I do that stuff? So, and we're basically kind of an amplifier for different services
Okay.
throughout the community and the university itself, whether that be tutoring or financial or even mental health stuff as well, just simply because of all the things you have to
Yeah.
work your way through.
Yeah. Interesting. And what do you see as the biggest aha? Like people don't realize what kind of benefits are out there or what kind of services are out there that people don't realize.
Basically, just to ask,
Yeah.
really, like I said, we're lucky. We work with the veteran service organizations. They refer people here
Okay.
a lot of times, and then all of our campus agencies too. But, a lot of times people don't ask, or
Mhm.
service members really don't want to be identified or aren't interested. They didn't do it because they want, recognition. So they don't ask or do things. So they never find out about that there are things available and someone can assist you with, like for us, for dependents, for example.
Mhm.
Um, we'll sit down. You can come in, sit down. We'll help you fill out the application and do that as
Okay.
far as for the actual benefit itself. And that's confusing because is it an application for school? Is it for financial aid? Is it for the benefit? Is it for the, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very navigating all of these different types of programs and then not knowing even who to ask or to ask, I think comes probably the biggest problem that's out there is not even knowing to ask for something.
Yes, to ask. And again, like I said, service people are trained to be independent. You don't ask for help. Help,
Right.
what's wrong with you? You Sally, buck
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a difficult thing to do. So luckily, like I said, we're in a very supportive environment and we're
Yeah.
able to do those things.
So talk through some of the different benefits and services that you are often running across.
Uh, that's my favorite question almost, because again, there's so many different levels of, are
Yep.
you talking about state benefits? Because our state supports our veterans with different benefits and their dependents as well. Are
Yep.
you talking about active duty benefits to do things with? Because each of the service branches have their own things. Are you talking about veteran? Are you talking about spouse? So yes, there's a wide variety, kind of the most popular or common or known one is the post 9/11, the Chapter 33 GI Bill, and now it's called the Forever GI Bill.
Okay.
Um, there are different services for veterans employment. VR&E is another one of the ones. When you get
Okay.
to the dependents, the Chapter 35 dependent education assistance, and then we're gonna go into the Guard and Reserve. They have what's called their GI Bill is 1606. And then
Okay.
if you actually get into the Guard and Reserve, they also have state benefits. So they have reimbursement, and you also have active duty people with federal tuition assistance to do things with. So yeah, there's a little bit to work through. I know and I'm giving you a bad time about you're looking at me like, holy cow, I wish I'd have never asked that question. It
No,
is, there's
actually,
that many variety.
it's so fun. I mean, it's fun to hear that there are these benefits available. It's also getting the word out about them is really important and getting people to ask. And so the more things you throw at me, the better, because then at least people are like, oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize there were these things out there. Um, at LSND, we are often working with veterans, especially with housing issues and things like that. So let's talk about veterans and the Forever GI
GI
Bill.
Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what that does.
So basically, what that does is that covers their allowable tuition and fees.
Okay.
It provides them a housing allowance based on their enrollment.
Okay.
So they have a stipulation of whether you're part-time, half-time, quarter-time, you meet the requirement for that benefit. And then are you taking all in-person classes? Are you taking all, excuse me, online classes, or do you have one in person? So then you get paid at E5 uh, with dependence rate for that location, basically. So
Okay.
again, even after just trying to get to it, that
Mhm.
is a bunch to navigate. And then your books, they're not really paid for. It's a stipend.
Okay.
So, and then one of the other things a lot of people miss out on is that to apply actually for federal financial aid as well. And people say, well, I got everything paid for, or I don't want loans, or, well, if you don't complete that, you don't find out if you qualify for the grants, which you do not repay, which you are entitled to in addition to your benefit, which can then help you with additional schooling, licensing, et cetera, after. Again, my thing, people say, well, I don't need that, or I don't deserve that, or we didn't write the rules. That's how that part is. And somebody obviously feels you do. So
Mhm.
our job is to, make sure you're aware of. My story all the time is I'm not going to tell you how to use the benefit. I don't know all the things that you need,
Right.
but I will outline all the ways that you can
Okay.
legally use that benefit and the things that are there for you to take advantage of.
That's very helpful. Um, one of the other di- populations we work with is disabled veterans. And is it like Chapter 31? Can you talk about the vocational rehab,
Okay,
what that
so
looks like?
vocational rehab actually is an employment
Yeah.
benefit. It actually works for the individual to become employed. When you talk about disabled or people that have that is something that their rating would qualify them
Okay.
for. And then
Okay.
their dependents, and this is one of the unknown parts of the things, is that their dependent then becomes eligible
Okay.
for benefits. So their spouse and dependents. And if you're in the state of North Dakota and you're 100% T&P, totally
Mhm.
permanent, right? Then your dependents can attend a university system school tuition free, basically, for a certain amount of time. So yeah, the veteran themselves, the disability really rating or that part of it really doesn't generate necessarily a benefit. Well, that's not true. The VR&E part of it, it
Right.
does. And again, one of the things about that is, sorry, really long answer because I'm into the weeds of doing stuff, but one of the benefits of that is it does not burn your Chapter 33, your post 9/11 eligibility benefit while you use that.
Mhm.
They don't. talk to you about that either. So, so yeah, and then they usually don't tell you if you qualify for the your dependents qualify for the Chapter 35, the DEA. They don't talk to you about the North Dakota benefit either. But again, there's some requirements that go with that
Yep,
because you need to have been a North Dakota resident when you entered service or be a resident for the past 5 years.
got
And
it.
then it has to be a university system school. So anyway,
Well, no, and that's what you're illustrating here, and what I'm hearing is that there's so many overlapping and so many ways to use different levels of benefits that there's no way any of us who don't work in this, like get in the weeds, could know all of these things. And that's what your job is to help them figure those things out.
yes, correct. Yeah. And it is. It's a daunting,
Yeah,
crazy type of thing, but it helps. And then once it's the same thing, just learning the lingo and
yeah,
doing
yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff. Once you get to that point, it's not that big a deal. But getting to that point can seem overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah. I always tell people know who to talk to is probably the best resource that you have is just know who to talk to because you're never going to know everything about everything.
Correct. Yes. And that's again, like we talked about being an amplifier for different services.
Yeah.
That's, like the financial aid people are the financial aid experts. The academic people advising center, they're the academic experts.
Yep.
So, and then we hope you come to us for your benefit because, one of the other difficult things is are you when you're in service as a
Mhm.
DoD person, you listen to DoD people, but when you get out, you become a veteran. Now you're VA. Well, you still go back to those DoD people to ask for advice on something that the VA is doing, and they
Yep.
don't talk to each other. They're siloed up. They're different entities. So,
Yes.
we create problems for ourselves that we don't even know that we're not intentionally, but
Mhm.
because of how things work.
Right. How the hierarchies work in the silos and all that kind of thing. It's
Correct.
yeah, very
Correct. Correct.
interesting. Do you have an actual on-site office that people can go to?
We do. Again, the university has been very good at providing an actual area. So we have a kind of a safe place. It used to be the term that they used to do, but basically, yeah, we have an area where you can come in and you sit down and use the computers or study. And actually, it's 24/7 availability.
Cool.
So you can come and kind of the bad joke is, you can get away from everybody. You don't have to sit around and deal with, all the rest of the people. You can come and be with military people
Yeah.
to do that part of it. Not, it's a different culture, different
Yeah.
background, you can have different conversations,
Yes.
and not be, the how some of the stuff works. If you've raised your right hand, you understand that. If you don't, it doesn't make sense. And why are you so special? We're not special. We're just different. So,
Yeah, it's a different culture. And then as you've gone through different levels of the service,
and different
there's yeah, different
experiences.
experiences. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
if do you do any events or anything like that throughout the year that we should know about?
Yeah, we do different things, and we haven't done some stuff for a little while here now, but we'll get back to some of the stuff. But yeah, like we've done like a Veterans Week. So
Okay.
like during Veterans Day prior to, we have the different service organizations from the community, the Legion, the VFW, we have a local vet center, regional vet centers, the actual commissioner for the Veterans State of North Dakota State Approving Agency, those types of folks on campus so they can actually interact directly with individuals.
Hmm.
With Patriot Day, we've done different stuff. We do stuff kind of too, like for different events where we work with the DAV. We do flag etiquette stuff, like with Marketplace for Kids. Actually, we work with the DAV and the VFW, and we do a flag etiquette deal. So we get in front of hundreds of kids and just teach some of the, things about our colors. A lot of things that aren't talked about or done anymore. Just
Yep.
like yesterday, was Pearl Harbor Day. Golly, you used to have lots of films and
Mhm.
doing stuff. God, we almost hardly didn't even mention
Didn't
that
even hear about it. Yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah.
that was a fairly significant time in our history and when where we're at today. But anyway, yeah, those are some of the things.
If people need to reach out to you, what's the best way to contact the program?
Um, we do things social media wise. There's a Facebook page.
Okay.
Obviously, the easiest way is to get on the Minot State webpage and just put in Military Resource Center, and then that our office will pop up. There's a email link. The phone number is there.
Okay.
We also provide, like I said, we do social media stuff. We do a monthly newsletter, and put out a ton of information with all the different, well, Legal Services in North Dakota gets in there every
Yeah.
once in a while. Just referral, like I said, because people don't realize things that are available and life happens,
Yeah.
and not everything goes smoothly. And, we're here to assist, not to judge. So we want you to be able to complete what your academic goals are successfully.
Very good. And I'll put the contact information, the website, and things like that in the show notes
Appreciate that.
as this is live. And so, any last words? You shared so much information. I really appreciate it, and your website is
Yeah.
great as well. So, any
Yeah, well,
last
thanks for
comments?
having us. Yeah, the biggest thing is just that, if you have questions, ask. Another one of my goofy things is, the only stupid question is the one that you didn't ask that ends up costing you money or a
Yeah.
missed opportunity because you were too embarrassed or too ashamed to ask. Yeah, we might roll our eyes at you or whatever, but the thing is, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah.
And again, service members are very reluctant to do that. I don't deserve this or I shouldn't have. Or, man, you raised your right hand, and Uncle Sam wants to deliver as well, but sometimes he doesn't know that you aren't getting this or something hasn't occurred for you to get that. So yeah, always please reach out.
Very good. Well, I appreciate your time this morning, and everyone else tune in next week for the next LSND Live Community Conversations.
Thanks again, and happy holidays, everybody, a little early.
Thank you.